Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Shan with your inspirational and motivational moments. If you like this channel, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe. And also hit the bell for notifications every time that I post on this channel. So guys, for the next 4 videos, I will be doing a series on teen pregnancy. I will really be breaking down my testimonies in these videos. So as many of you may know, I got pregnant when I was 12 years old and had my first child at the age of 13. And I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of my testimony, going back to, why I feel like some of the things that happened to me in my childhood is what led up to me becoming pregnant at such an early age. So growing up, I lived with my mother and my stepfather, and it was not a good situation at all. I grew up in a household where it was a lot of fussing, always just constant fussing, and just it was always a lot of chaos. It was never peace. So growing up, I did not have the best relationship with my mother or my stepfather. If I'm being totally honest, growing up, I really couldn't stand my mom nor my stepdad. I felt like him coming in the situation, he never gave me a chance. He never wanted to like me. So we always bumped heads. I felt like he was always out to get me, never wanted me to be happy. I was never able to be myself in my own house. And as a result of that, I always felt alone because I always felt like I had no one to talk to. I couldn't talk to my mom. I couldn't talk to my stepdad. My dad, he was in and out of the picture. He was never consistent. So I held a lot of things in. I grew up feeling like no one cared about me, like no one loved me. I dealt with depression a lot. I mean, from a very early age, I stayed depressed. I stayed sad. And part of that was always listening to my mom and my stepdad argue so much and always feeling left out because it was all about them. And another part of that was because my dad didn't rescue me from this situation. I didn't have that life with my dad. So I dealt with a lot. A lot of times I wanted to commit suicide. A lot of times I wanted to run away because it was just so painful for me. And so always dealing with that, always getting in trouble about everything. I was never able to just be Shan. I always, never able to be a kid. I always felt like I was in this bubble. And if I was being Shan, I would always get talked down to. And that caused me to be shy. I used to sing a lot when I was younger because I music and I love to sing, and I like to think that I have a pretty voice. But I was always told, if you would worry about your schoolwork more than you worry about that music, then you may be okay. And that was hurtful to me, because I really, at that point, as a little girl, I really saw myself as a singer. But I was always let down every time that I would sing or anything that I wanted to do. It was always a problem. So that's why I said I felt like I could never be myself. And, I just stayed angry because I held in a lot of things because I had no one to talk to. If I would go and try to talk to my mom, she had her own situation going on with her and her husband. And, of course, she had my brother, my little brother, and my little sister. So it was a lot she was dealing with herself. So I was never really able to talk to her. And like I said, with my dad was never consistent. He was always in and out. So just not having that love around me, I can really count on my fingers how many times my mother gave me a hug and said, I love you. Or, just looking at the look on my face and just something is wrong with my daughter, and just coming to talk to me. I never had that. My stepdad, I can't even tell you, I really don't ever remember him even telling me that he loved me. Anytime he would talk to me, it was always talking down on me. It was always getting on me about something. I stayed in trouble for everything. And I was a kid. I really didn't do much, but nothing was a lot. You in that house, you stayed in trouble for all kind of crazy things just for being a child. You're being a child, but you're getting in trouble for being a kid. So to me, being a kid living with my mom and her husband wasn't allowed. You had to abide by their rules and do things their way, really my stepdad's way. And that was it. Anything else, you're going to get in trouble for. And so, I just grew up feeling like no one cared. No one loved me. I dealt with self-hatred a lot. It was hard for me to look at myself in the mirror and think that I was beautiful because I never got that from my mother. I never got that from my stepdad, so it was hard for me to look at myself and think that I was beautiful, or it was hard for me to look at myself and like myself because it seemed like my mom and her husband, those, and my dad, the people that are responsible for taking care of me and making me feel that way, it was never there. But on the other hand, on one hand, my mom, she would never tell me I was beautiful. She would, barely say she loved me and give me a hug. But on the other hand, my dad, every time he would see me, he would always give me a hug. He would always tell me he loved me. He would always tell me that I'm beautiful. But the problem with that was it was never consistent, and I was looking for that love. I was looking for that affection. I was yearning for it so bad, and I had it nowhere. It would be times where I would call my dad and just cry and vent to him, not really telling him everything because I'm still a kid and I don't want to get in trouble, but I would tell him certain things and I would want him to come and rescue me out of that situation, but that never happened. The only thing he would tell me is, oh, Shan, just go ahead and just listen to your mom and, and everything is going to be okay. When I didn't want that, I wanted him to get me out of that situation. I felt like I'm your little girl and can't you not hear the pain in my voice? I'm already dealing with my mom not even being able to see the pain in my face, but I'm calling you because I want you to rescue me. And the only thing that you can tell me is to do what my mom tell me to do and everything is going to be okay. So because of that caused me to start disliking my dad, building resentment towards my dad because I felt like he had so many times to come and rescue me from this situation and he just dropped the ball every single time. So, just growing up and always looking for love, I was looking for my dad to love me the way I wanted him to love me. And I was looking for my mother's love and I felt like I never had neither one. So that caused me to turn to other things. And in the 7th grade, that is when I met my kid's father. When I met him, I was able to laugh and I was able to be myself. And he always was so easy to talk to. And he was always able to recognize the pain on my face, so he would sit and listen to me and we would talk and just laugh and talk. And I didn't have that at home. The only person I had that with was him. And then finally he started to tell me that he loved me. And I was looking for that love. I was looking for my father's love. I was looking for my mother's love. So when I get that from this little boy, I felt like it was real and that's what I needed. So I became really attached to him, because I felt like he understood me. I feel like he gets me. He sees me. And that's all I've been wanting from my mother and my father and even my stepfather. I don't want you to constantly get on me for the small things. When I'm doing good, tell me that I'm doing good. Don't always point out my faults. I wanted you to point out when I was doing good, but I was never seen that way. The only time my mother and my stepdad would come and talk to me, it was about negative stuff. You know, it was about things that I was doing wrong. It was never about the things that I was doing right. So I just wanted to escape from that situation altogether. I mean, I wanted a way out, and I had no way out. And so, like I said, once I met my kid's father, I was able to open up more to him. I was able to talk and start getting, some stuff off my chest, but I couldn't tell him everything because I used to feel embarrassed about telling people some of the things that I went through, because I never wanted nobody to feel bad for me. But if you listen to some of the things that I've been through, as a kid, the other kid will feel like, dang, you in a jacked up situation, but I would never tell him everything, but I would just tell him certain stuff about how I did not like my mom. I did not get along with her. I feel like if she had the opportunity, she would give me up, and I did not get along with my stepdad. I feel like he hates my guts, so being able to express how I feel and not feel judged and not be talked down on, I got that from my kid's father. And all I wanted that was to come from the grown-ups that was around me, that was responsible for raising me. And so, just getting that from him, that's when one thing led to another, and that's when I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant, of course, like I talked about in my last video, my video, Beating the Odds, I talked about how I was called all kind of names. I was degraded a lot in my household by my mother's husband. And, I was just always told that it was my fault. Now, yes, I went out and, I had sex and I got pregnant, but I felt like it wasn't my fault. I felt like it was my mother, my dad, and my stepdad. I felt like it was their fault because I felt like they just dropped the ball on me. I felt like they didn't want to give me a chance. They didn't want to get to know me. They didn't want to hear my pain. They didn't want to hear my cries, And so when I got pregnant, I was told that it was my fault and I was just being a fast ass and I was just being hot in the tail and all kind of other things. I just went into a really dark place and a really deep depression, and it was just hard for me. It was hard for me to carry my baby and have to deal with some of the things that I had to deal with at home. I feel like although I got pregnant at the age of 12, I feel like what I was looking for was my mom and my dad to say, you know what? Somehow I thought that was going to make them realize all the mistakes they had made with me, when it was the total opposite. My dad, like I talked about in my other video, Beating the Odds, my dad, he left. He walked out. He couldn't deal with it. He looked at me as a disgrace. So he left, whereas my mother, she just blamed me. And I felt like they took no responsibility in what the role that they played in the reasons why I was pregnant at 12 years old, But that's all I have for this video. I don't want to tell too much. I want you guys to come back for the next video. But I just want to encourage the parents out there and the teen parents that, for the parents, recognize the pain. When you see it in your kids, recognize it and talk to your kids and find out what's going on with them. Don't give up on your kids. Don't drop the ball on your kids because you have so much going on. You know what I'm saying? Figure out what is that pain. Where is that pain coming from? Because, I feel like with us adults, we think that children are not supposed to have feelings. A lot of people really think, adults think that you're a child. What are you going through that is just that bad? You know, you don't have a job, you don't have to work, you don't have to pay no bills, so what's your problem? And that right there is the reason why a lot of kids walk around angry at the world like I was, holding on to so much pain like I was, when all we are looking for is to be heard, to be recognized, to feel like we matter. Because those are all the things that I was looking for. And I didn't get it. All I was looking for is love. I wanted to feel loved by my mother and my dad, and even my stepdad. So don't drop the ball on your kids. Get to know your children. Know what makes them hurt, what makes them cry, what it is about you as a parent they don't like. Hear your children. Talk to your kids. Don't just think because they are kids, they aren't supposed to feel no type of way about the things that you are doing, because that is so far from the truth. Everybody have feelings, emotions, you know, and if you don't want to be talked down to by another adult, you should not think that your kids will want that. We all have feelings, including children. So I just hope that this video, you know, helps somebody and you guys like it. And remember that I love you, God loves you, and come back for next week video. And I will just continue to give you guys my testimony. Guys, stay safe out there. I love you guys. Bye.